Hello everyone and welcome to a reading wrap-up for the Wild Form Druid. This was one of the careers that you could go through for the Spring Orilium, which is a magical readathon hosted by G from Book Roast. Now, as of filming this, it is July 27th. I completed a long time ago the one that I did, which was like Master of the Elements. But I want to see how many other paths that I can complete before the next Orilium. We were supposed to have it in August, but something has come up, and I believe it might be taking place in September now. I'm not 100% positive, but it has been delayed a little bit. So, this is the only other one I've done so far, and I have this notebook filled with all of the careers that you're trying to work towards. So, Wild Form Druid. There were 8 classes to take on this, so let's go ahead and just delve right on in. This will be fairly quick. Class number 1 is Animal Studies. Pebble Ducks. This is to read a book with a yellow title. I read Buffalo Before Breakfast. This was written by Mary Pope Osborne. This was 76 pages. This is early middle grade or maybe slightly before. I can't even remember the name of this series, but there's a whole bunch of them. They're historical fiction and things like that. I read this there's another like year-long readathon that I'm trying to participate in where one of the prompts is to read a book with a buffalo on the cover. So I used this book and it happened to work here because the title of the book was yellow. So yeah, there's really not much I can say. It has some time travel because this brother and sister go back in time, and this time they go to a Native American land. I don't recall which one, but they can get in their treehouse and then they're transported back in time, and in order to get back to their time they had to be gifted something, and then they're back in their time, and then no time has passed in their actual time where they live. So Buffalo Before Breakfast. As an adult, I did see a note like that said that basically if you're an adult you can read them in any order because you get the gist of it. But as a kid who is more in this age category, you really do need to read them in order. So I just wanted to get a book read that had a buffalo on the cover, or a bison, because that is the actual correct term for buffalo is bison. That is one thing I did learn. So this was 76 pages for the ebook that I read. I did not rate this. I just didn't know how to go about rating this. I think, one, I'm not the target audience, which I do rate middle grade, but where this is more on the very early middle grade, I would say even younger. So like the grouping right before middle grade. That, I don't know. There's just some of them I can rate because they are just so cute and I have a blast with them. This one is one that it's like, I wish if I was that age category, these are ones that I think I would have enjoyed reading at that age category, but I just didn't know how to rate it, so I did not rate it. So not as a negative, just as in I had no idea how I was going to rate it. So that's it. Number 2 was Art of Illusion. This was Shadow Play. And this is to read a game with read a book with game or play in the title. I went with Night Games by R.L. Stine. This is a young adult horror thriller. This one we're following teenagers. They meet this friend that they haven't seen for at least a year, and he goes out to clear his head and plays these night games. They're practical jokes, basically. As this book progresses, these practical jokes that this group of friends do get more illegal, is the best way to say it. I gave this one 3 stars. It was 165 pages. Next up, the class was Astronomy. This was Constellations 3. This is to read a zodiac recommendation. So I'm a Sagittarius, so I did a Google search for horror books recommended for people who are Sagittarius. One of them that came up was Pyrophobia, written by Jack Lance, and this is what I did read. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. It was 295 pages, and it was good. I would have liked more paranormal, and I think it just didn't go as dark as I personally would have wanted in any of my horror books that I like to read. So, but it was still fun. Still had a good time with it. Still enjoyed it. Just was not my level of horror that I absolutely enjoy. So that's why it only got 3 stars. This guy has pyrophobia. You can guess it's a fear of fire. He doesn't know where it comes from. He ends up getting this Polaroid snapshot with this thing saying, "You are not alive, you are actually dead." And so he's trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Is someone telling him something, like he is this reincarnated person, doesn't know he's a reincarnation, or is this some paranormal thing, or is this an actual living person who is threatening him, saying that he is going to die by a certain date? So he's trying to figure that out. So it was still fun. And that's pretty much all I can say. Next one was Conjuration. This is Blinding Prism. This is to do a color wheel. And the color that I got with the color wheel was indigo. So I am went with Good Different by Meg Eden Kuyatt. This was one of the month's selections for Autism Reads, which is a read-along that I host where the author is confirmed to be autistic. And this is a middle grade, and this is told in verse. It is all poems, and it's just about this girl finding out about being autistic, how she feels different, that it's not bad to be different, that it can actually be a good thing, and to be a dragon in a world full of humans type of a situation. I loved this. A lot of the feelings that she was struggling with at this age, being a middle grade, are things that I have struggled with, not only in middle grade, but just growing up in general, and still on occasion, thoughts that I still have. And so I gave this one 5 stars. I highly recommend this to anyone who wants to understand just a little bit more about people that are autistic, and maybe some of the struggles that they may be facing internally with their thought dialogues. Now, that's not to say everyone that's autistic is going to be thinking the same way, but for me personally, this was spot on. And it was great. So I do highly recommend this one. Number 5 was Elemental Studies. This is to Call the Lightning. So this is to read a book with a source of light on the cover. I read Pretty When They Collide as an ebook. This was a novella. I gave this 3 stars. It was 133 pages. It was a paranormal romance. Sapphic. The one gal is a witch, and the other gal is, I don't remember the technical term, but she's half vampire, half human. She does have these abilities where she can kind of change shape, things like that. The witch is able to dream walk, and they have this spark that is there between them. The witch is held captive by a vampire, and so this half vampire, half human is going to try to save this witch. And that's where that one left off. This is part of a series. This was a prequel to the series, so we'll see where this one goes. Class number 6 is Spells and Incantations. This is for the spell Quick Count. So this one, we do a random generator, and then the number that comes up, the title needs to be that length as far as the letters. The number that I got was number 20. So I went with My Senor Grumpylicious, written by Luna Stone. I ended up skimming this one. For me personally, this was just a little bit too choppy of writing. It just felt a little bit too rough. The concept of it was really, really good. I was really intrigued by it, but the delivery was just not what I personally wanted in a book. So I ended up giving this one like a 1 star. I might go and just remove the star rating because I probably just not for me. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I'm leaning like 99% sure that's what I'm going to do. I have deleted this one from my Kindle. This was 238 pages. What has happened in this one is, as far as I can remember, again, I skimmed it, so I know I've missed a lot of stuff. I don't know how explicit, if at all, it got with sexual content. This gal who is in America gets awarded this academic student trip where she goes to study abroad. And so she goes to, I believe it was Spain, to do that, and romance hence then ensues. Okay? And that's pretty much all I can tell you about that one. Moving on, class number 7 is Restoration. This is Regaining Consciousness. So this is to read a book that you think could cure reading slumps. Now this is all subjective. For me, I think to cure a reading slump, it has to really hook you if it's going to be fairly long, or it has to be a really quick read. So And what are quick reads or graphic novels and mangas? And I went with a manga. I went with Deserter by Junji Ito. This is a collection of short horror stories. And I think for the right person, this could definitely cure a reading slump. And can definitely maybe start getting you into reading some other stuff. So yeah, 4 stars, 384 pages. It's horror short stories, so you really can't say anything. There are some paranormal aspects and body horror, religious horror in one of them. So I don't know. I just really enjoy Junji Ito's work, so I enjoyed that one. And the last class for Wild Form Druid was Shape-Shifting, which was Mimics. And this is to read a book that where the author blurbed. So the author of the book I'm currently reading for this prompt will have had to have blurbed a prior 5-star read. So your last 5-star read. The author that blurbed the last 5-star read was Laura Shovan. So I read a book written by Laura Shovan, and I read Takedown via ebook. This was a middle grade about wrestling, specifically about a middle grade girl who wants to wrestle, but there's one team that will not accept her because she is a girl. They only want boys. She does get accepted by a different team, and they kind of try to take it easy with her because they don't want to touch her in the wrong way and be accused of something. But then they realize that things are actually okay and she can wrestle really well. And some of them are very surprised, and new friendships are formed and things like that. So I thought it was fairly good. So Takedown, I gave this one 3 stars. It was 262 pages. Let me know, have you read any of these books? Now, for the Wild Form Druid, I read 1,826 pages. I did not keep track of how long, so how many days it took me to complete this one. So just divided amongst the 8 books, that means it was 228.25 pages per book, with 1 book getting 1 star, 1 book didn't even do a star rating. 4 books got a 3-star, 1 got a 4-star, and 1 got a 5-star. That's 22 star issues divided by the 8 books. It's a 2.75 star rating. So bit on the lower end, but there were still some fairly good reads in this. So let me know, have you read any of these books? Have you read books from any of these authors? Are you ready for the next round of Orilium? Let me know. I look forward to the next announcement video that G will put out whenever that is. No rush. Don't, if she were to ever see this, don't ever rush yourself. Take your time, do what you need to do, take care of yourself, and only do it when you're ready. So those are my personal thoughts, and I'm sure there are plenty of other people that would agree with that. Yeah, thanks, G, for creating such a fun thing. The next class I am going to be, or career path I will be working on, is Demonologist. I already have 1 book completed for that. There are 6 prompts for that one. I have 1 book read, and one of the other prompts is to read The Legend of Dia, and I have done that. So I have 4 more books, but we'll see if I'm able to complete the Demonologist one before the next Orilium starts. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. What career did you go for? And have you read any of these books or books from any of these authors? Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.